So as you can see here, it's kind of just the main screen. And from there, what I'll do is just click on nationwide auto titling because that's what we're going to go with. The other is more the state specific programs that we have set up here. This is what the nationwide system entry screen looks like. You're going to have the common questions here, the training catalog on the right. And then in the top right, you're going to see our customer service number as well as the email. So our customer service is going to
Okay.
be available from, I believe it's going to be 7 to 6 Central Time, Monday through Friday, and then also 7 to 4 Central Time on Saturday. So they're going to be around to help with deals via email and phone. But besides that, we also have a inquiry search up here. Oh, it's actually here under tools, that input is search there. And
Okay.
then also, I guess really the main area where you're going to go to is just start a new deal.
Okay.
And so once you hit start a new deal, it's going to open up the map. So if you were to
Cool.
choose what state you're going to be needing to run the deal through, obviously it's going to be set up here for you with the abbreviations as well. Kind of makes it a
Okay.
little bit easier since all the northeastern states are pretty small. But what I'll do is, like I mentioned at the beginning, I'll run the deal to kind of make it look like it has the automate integration.
Okay.
I had a South Dakota deal, kind of random, not a ton of
Yeah,
forms
that's a
there.
random one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's just we had a customer in kind of southwestern Minnesota, so he said he saw a ton of South Dakota customers, and he used Automate with us, so he wanted to know what it looked like there. So that is the reasoning for that. But what you would do is you would just type in your dealership name. It's going to be title and
Okay.
registration. Here is pretty much all you need to know. I mean, not in its entirety, but for starters, you're just going to plug that deal number in from Automate. You're just going to go in there, pull the deal number, hit load deal, and it's going to
Mhm.
populate from there. So I'll show you up. Obviously, I don't have an Automate deal number, so it's going to say not
Mhm.
found. But
Okay.
to mimic that, what I'm going to do is use the previous VIN. I'll hit load vehicle in there. It already gives me that's the passenger. Do a finance deal. And what I want to point out to you below here is we have the ability
Mhm.
to run the full deal or just the fee calc only. So if you guys
Okay.
just wanted to see what the fee calc looked like, that's a possibility. But if
Okay.
you wanted to do the fee calc plus getting the DMV forms at the
Info.
end, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that's also the ability to do so there. So we'll hit full deal. And what I do want to mention is too, South Dakota is just kind of weird because a lot of states, if you're titling into New York or California, they're going to have all these notices pop up at the start for you saying, hey, you need this smog check.
Mhm.
There's a certain amount of days that you need to get everything done within. South Dakota doesn't
Okay.
really have that on the forefront,
Okay.
but we are going to let you know of the state specific notices for each state.
Okay, that's
So
good.
here, what I'll do is to act like we're running an integration.
Mhm.
I'm going to load this deal in. That all the information is going
Okay.
to pre-filled like the automate integration would have for you.
That's cool.
So I would hit load deal. And by the way, that's also to show you if you were running a deal and maybe it was the end of the day, you're like, I need to head out of here. The customer's like, wait, hold up. I need to get my finances in order or something, for whatever reason, you can go ahead and save the deal and it's going to have everything saved for you with the deal number in there. But this is what our program looks like. And here is the information that's already going to be pulled on over, acting like automate the deal is pulled over. So you would see here on the owner information page, we have the customer's info. Just have myself pulled on over. You have the ability to add the co-owner as well. It's going to bring you the address. You're not going to have to input that twice. Not going to have to worry about making any mistakes or having a letter that's not typed in. But that's what that's going to look like. We also do, since we are an in-house provider, I know that's different from a lot of other systems out there. So we do really want to highlight certain things are going to be necessary. So for instance, here, as you can see, it's in red. we're going to highlight everything in red that's necessary to print your forms. So if it's not in red, like a suffix or a middle name, you're not going to have to input it to print the forms that the DMV is going to accept. But, obviously the more information, the merrier. Next, it's going to show your vehicle information here. So you can just see below how everything in red, once again, is filled out just due to the Automate integration. But if you didn't have the integration, we're just making it easy to fill out the vehicle information here already. And additionally, once you loaded that VIN on the first page, it's going to bring in all the information here on the vehicle information page. So some states won't have this odometer field here. Some states do, just really dependent. But a lot of the times too, if you guys wanted to ship your vehicle or if you needed to input the vehicle weight, you can input that in here as well.
Okay.
Trade-ins, something we allow for you here too. We allow up to 4 trade-ins, but in the rare case that there somehow is more, we can manually add that for you. But just pretty easy here too. You can just input the VIN from the trade-in, the vehicle that the customer is bringing to you, hit load. It's going to load in here this information as well. Then we get to the purchase information. This one is pretty light for South Dakota. So what it looks like here is you're going to see all the fields that are taxable. And then you can input the sales price here, which is going to be brought over from Automate. And you guys can select, obviously, if you're going to ship the vehicle. Is that something you guys typically do?
There have been a few instances where we've shipped it. It's not
Okay.
usually people are flying in or however to get the car.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so give you the ability to decide whether or not really
Okay, that's
decide, but
cool.
to input if you're
Yeah.
shipping it or not, because it'll ask for shipping charges here. So
Okay.
if you're not, of course, it's going to be 0. And
Okay.
for this page, what we do stress is that we want you to input a number into every field here, because if you
Even if it's
don't,
just 0.
yes, ma'am, because it does work like a
Okay.
calculator. So it's gonna,
Okay.
honestly, if you don't input something, then it'd be like, hey, wait, you do have to input something. So then you just go, okay, put in a 0 there. But this is just adding up all the fees to get you to where you need to be. So, and we're going to give you a little blurb about everything too. So if you go in here and you're like, I'm unsure of what that exactly means, because some states will have a ton, some will just have a couple fields. It's really dependent. You could just put in whatever you guys need. And what is your guys' dock fee in Missouri?
I think it's 587 now. It just went up again. Yeah, 587.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know it's really different from state to state. Texas is like 149 where we're located, and the weird thing about Texas too is that they're really stingy about the processing fee, adding on any additional fees. So a lot of states, I know whom the gentleman I spoke with last week in Minnesota says they just really can do whatever as far as charging back customers. Same with Georgia. Do you guys know if there is any limit to where you can charge back a customer for running for like upcharging, I should say?
Oh, any limit of upcharging? I
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
think, like by law, like we can only charge. Uh, I don't think. I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay, yeah, if you're probably not aware, then I bet there's not. I know like all the Texas dealers are like, oh yeah, we can only charge a stock fee and that's about it. So a lot of them even eat the cost. But what we allow you to do is we allow you to charge back your customer. So I mean,
Oh,
I've spoken
okay.
with a ton of dealers in Missouri, and I don't know if it's you guys just don't have to title and register customers from out of state or what it is, but a lot of them choose not to. But I did
Oh.
have some tell me that is either the start of 2025 or 26 that it is going to be required. If you've heard of that, I
Um,
forgot when.
yeah, I mean it's weird. It just I guess is from state to state, but
Hmm.
well, I know in Missouri they are trying to change it to where we as a dealer can collect sales tax and issue license plates here, which
Hmm.
I hate that idea.
Yeah.
But I know like most of the time, if it's a finance deal, the only
Mhm.
way we make sure our lien is on there is if we're doing the title and
Correct.
registration. Like, in Missouri, we could just file a lien on the online for $6, and we never have to think about it again. I wish
Gotcha.
there's
Yeah.
some kind of universal system, but no, yeah. So anytime we're financing one out of state, we're usually wanting to collect the taxes.
Yes, ma'am. And that's what I've heard as well as lease. I've spoken with several customers that said they've needed to collect the taxes. They needed to get it titled and registered if they're leasing the vehicle. So in this program at the start, I kind of went over it briefly, but you can choose if it's a cash finance or a lease deal. So we do
Okay,
give you that
yes.
option too, because I know that's kind of a big I know that's necessary to use a
Mhm.
system like this. So that's another ability that we're going to give you. And here, I do really want to point out with the processing fee, you are
Okay.
going to be able to charge back the customer. So you're going to be able to make a
Okay.
profit on the
Okay.
system because a lot of the times, some dealers, I mean, a lot of Texas dealers that we work with, they're just letting the customer or they're just eating the cost. But you are
Mhm.
providing a service. You're getting it titled and registered for
Yeah.
that customer. You're not
Yeah.
having that person go in and wait at the DMV for a couple hours or,
Yeah.
really depending on where they live, taking time out of their day. So you're doing it for them. And I mean, honestly, if someone would do that for me and I have to go into work, from 8 to 5 every day or whatever, I'd love to have everything done for me. So it is a plus that you're going to be able to do this for them and we allow you to make a profit. So that's just what that looks like. So we'll keep that 200. We'll put 200 in here um, just to show you what that looks like. Brings you to the lien holder information here. Information can pull over as well from the Automate system if that's in there. Um, Obviously, the FEIN, which is they just have that for the federal there, or lien holder code's not going to be in there. You don't necessarily have to put it as well as the address. Here's a more important page right here, the registration information. Pulls on over the effective date and the county that the customer's in. And with the integration here, you can see the insurance info is going to be pulled on over. So we're going to have that for you. Something to take note of that is pretty useful here, since we're not a third party, since we are an in-house
Okay.
provider, we're going to give you a few different avenues to take. So if you wanted to title into a private tag agency, we're going to allow you to do
Okay.
so. And have you worked with any PTAs before?
Not well. That's not true. I can't remember. I probably have. I mean, we honestly, that's who we work with in Illinois. Um,
Okay.
this one right on the other side of the river. It's a private company. It's not a state office.
Okay.
So I guess yes. The answer is yes.
Okay. Awesome. Because I know those guys are, you're probably aware of, they are a lot more. I mean, they're just gonna get the job done for you because they're working as a business. So as
Yeah.
opposed to a state entity, they're gonna move the needle a little bit quicker for you. I mean, we've worked with several private tag agencies, and we have partnerships with them throughout the United States that are gonna get everything done in as little as 2 days. So as opposed to a DMV, which I've heard maybe a state like New York can take us like up to 3 weeks. Um, Private tag agencies can sometimes, get the job done in a couple of days for you. So we give you that option if you did want to work with one. But of course, they do charge a fee. So
Okay.
if you wanted to pass that on to the customer, just let the customer know, hey, we can get this done for you quick if you're needing your vehicle. But you do have to charge. You are going to have to pay $114 for this private tag agency to get everything done for you. If not,
Yeah.
the customer's fine with everything. Maybe it's a smaller town DMV like this one in South Dakota, probably. You know, um, we could just run it through there, no additional fee at all.
Okay.
We go hit calculate fees to move on. And I did want to ask, it's been pretty straightforward so far, Kathleen, but was there any questions or anything that you had for me yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It looks pretty cool. So you're not, well, it's just giving you all the info, and then you're able to pick where you want to send it. So
Yes.
like, okay, so here is a question. So, uh, sometimes. some states, like, they'll only process out of state application, some kind of weird thing at their central office location or something.
Mhm,
So certainly, I guess if you pick, whatever state that is,
mhm.
there's only going to be like one choice of where to send it, possibly. Or does that make sense? What
Yes,
I'm
that
saying?
does.
Okay.
That does. And for some states, even like Louisiana, it's called
Yeah.
like a tax assessor, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's different all over. Yes.
Yeah, so there, if you would
Okay.
see what that looks like, it would say like some parish tax
Yes.
assessor. So
Correct.
it
Yes.
is weird, and we're gonna
Uh-huh.
specify
Okay.
that too. We might
Okay.
not say, hey,
Okay.
this one is like this, but when you're going
Yeah.
through it, it's not just going to be like Louisiana DMV. It's going to say
Yes. Okay.
be really
Okay.
specific.
Okay.
But
All right. Thank you.
for sure, yeah, definitely a good question there. And this page is going to be the line by line breakdown of the fees. So
Okay.
here it's just going to show you those kind of minor fees in South Dakota. They're not much, and they're pretty sparse. There's just that registration fee, a couple of these, just dollars.
Mhm.
And what I do want to point out is we have this processing fee that we've implemented. So our program, it is $135 a month,
Okay.
and additionally, to run the deal, it's $100. So what you could do is you guys could charge $100 per customer to cancel out that transactional fee that we include. You could charge $135, $200, really whatever. And what you could do as
Okay.
well is you could set the bar, you could have finance set it at what they want to set it so it can't be changed from deal to deal. Um,
Okay.
we just allow you to do that to make a profit or to charge back your customer. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so that's going to be what that looks like there. If it was to be zero, it would say zero.
Okay. So there's a fee of 135 a month, but per transaction it's 100. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying? On
yes,
top of
ma'am.
that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's
What
correct.
about that thing in the front where they were just like getting numbers? Is that $100 to do that?
So what we do is we break down our the $100 transactional into a fee calculation and into
Okay.
the forms. So if you just wanted
Okay.
to run the fee calculation only, that's just going to be $35 for you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So if you just wanted to do that, 35 full thing plus the 65
Okay.
equals 100.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And some just this is what their state tax is just going to be called. Sometimes it's going to say something different.
Yeah.
Here it says that excise
Mhm.
tax at 4% gives you that total there. And then do you know if Missouri is a if Missouri has a reciprocity tax?
I don't like uh what does that mean? Like if another
So
state,
so there's only like 10 states I believe that do. Our
I don't think
demo
so.
Okay, our demo happens to be in Florida, where our demo site's hypothetically located.
Oh,
So it
okay.
does have a reciprocity tax. So that's what you see here.
So like even though we've sold a car to, let's say, Indiana resident, because we're in Missouri, Missouri still wants some money. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. So that's what that
No, they don't
means.
do that. They don't do
Okay.
that in Missouri.
Okay. So yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about this either. It wouldn't even have this reciprocity for
Okay.
out of state on here at all.
Okay.
It's just since we're in Florida, it has that, and there's about, like I
Okay.
said, 9 other states that do. So you guys wouldn't have to worry about that. Here, what only you'd have to worry about is the total amount to collect. So for us, we have the amount due to Florida, but
Mhm.
you would just have to worry about the NAT processing
Okay.
fee and the tax title and registration fees due to South Dakota. So just those two
Okay.
numbers, about 303.90 cents. And that's really just the fee breakdown for you. We make it easy, just lining everything up to see what it's going to look like. And then here you
Mhm.
go. We provide the notices below. So going to
Okay.
change from state to state. Here we just have it for South Dakota. They have this mail fee. A $5 fee will be charged if the paperwork is mailed, which unfortunately you have to because for whatever reason it's not all electronic from state to state. But we also include that late policy here to just let you know what that looks like. And before I print the forms, was there anything additional that you had questions on for the fee calculation page?
I don't think so.
Okay, perfect. And we'll go ahead and hit print forms. So that's where you're going to get that additional $65 once you hit there to add up to that total of 100 to run the deal.
Let's see. Okay.
And here we go. So again, I'm going to keep harping on it since we are an in-house provider. We provide you with the title checklist. So
Okay, that's great.
I know some dealerships they want to just get everything out of their hands, get everything to a central processor or a third party to have them handle it. I know others are going to be like, well, I've had a bad experience with the third party before. We kind of want to keep it in our hands to make sure everything looks right. Really just depending on what you guys are looking for. And I mean, if the integration is a big piece too, that's a plus. But what we're going to have is giving you this checklist to make sure in each of these fields you can edit as well before you print it out. So it's not like you can't change anything on here before printing out the forms. And what we do, we're going to highlight what the DMV gives us feedback on. So what they say, hey, these dealerships are sending out something incorrect. They're not giving us the full spiel. We have this provided in red to say, hey, South Dakota said this to us. This is what we want to highlight to make sure you guys aren't going to include. South Dakota only has one little section of red. Some states like Colorado has a ton because they're county specific. It's not even state specific. So we're going to let you know what's needed. And below here, just some state specific forms. Here, once again, being an in-house provider, we're going to say, this is who you're going to make the check payable to, the Clay County Treasurer. Cool. It's not going to be the Clay County DMV. It's going to be the treasurer, because sometimes they'll be like, hey, we're not going to accept that check because it says DMV, not treasurer. We're going to make sure it's going to be correct.
Registering cars out of state for dummies.
Yeah, basically.
It really is good.
Because we've had, I mean, some dealers have said, hey, this check has been rejected because 10 cents were short, and we're going to make sure everything's, yeah, we're just going to make sure everything's down to the penny, down to the letter, just because we know how finite some of these DMVs are going to be on the forms.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And then we're going to give you the mailing instructions here. Everything's just going to be listed out for you, so you're not going to have to input anything into here. And we do give you the phone number. I know we don't want you to deal with DMV, but we're going to give you that phone number there in case you have to. So this information, of course, is going to be pre-populated for your dealership. Just going to have everything included here. You can input your contact name. It can be a finance manager. It can be whomever. They're going to be in there with a phone number or email. So if the DMV says, hey, this is kind of funky, you're going to be the person to contact. Late fee penalty below, again, just giving you that notice. We're going to let you know on those a couple times as well. Just going to reiterate everything in there. Here's going to be the power of attorney forms. So it's just going to have the information input here. You can see as well here, you're not going to have to input any of that as well, so it's going to be in there. Something neat here as well, license plate destination form. So if you guys wanted to ship the license plate to the customer, so you guys are in Missouri, maybe some customer was visiting randomly from Maine, they didn't want to have to come back or whatever, you could have it send to them because they're all the way up there. If not, you know, they're in Illinois and you guys wanted to run it through here instead of a private tag agency, they're pretty close. You could just run it to them. They could say, okay, I'll make that drive an hour away or whatever and pick up the license plate. Here, we're going to give you the summary. So just to get in, let's look at everything here. There's the transaction information, basically all the pages we went through prior, vehicle info, purchase info, customer info, everything below. So you can also make edits to these fields as well. So say, oh, wait, I needed to add in a advertising charge for this, whatever that is, and plug that in there. But what it's going to do is at the start, it only had a couple fields. Those are going to be the fields required for South Dakota, the fields required to print the forms. So as you can see here, it just includes everything. Some states are going to have all these charges, all these non-taxable fields. South Dakota
Okay.
didn't. So we're going to include everything that South Dakota needs. Customer info. Then we're going to start getting to the state-specific forms, which you've probably seen, some similar
Yeah.
to these, of course. It has a title number that we included prior. It's going to have, transferring from out of state,
Okay.
everything in here that you can fill out before printing out.
Okay. That's
What I
cool.
do in a highlight too, which is highlighted, the signature boxes.
Yes.
So
Okay.
some states require a wet signature. Actually, a lot of states that I
Most
do
of them
run,
do, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the states I do run demos for do. I know there's only a couple states that are all electronic, that we have an ETR system for, electronic filing and registration, like Georgia, South Carolina, so on. But most of the states, yeah, they're still doing everything through the mail. A little bit archaic, if you ask me, but that's just how it's done.
Yeah.
And we let you know if they need a signature. So we're going to highlight every box that requires a
Okay.
wet
That's good.
signature. So, you could print this out. If I wasn't talking through this, we could get it done in as little as 5 to 10 minutes, print it out for the customer to have them sign it, say, hey, this is where we need to
Mhm.
sign before we send this off. So bill of sale, or I know I've had some of the clients say that they've overnighted it to the customer that didn't want to come in. Everything was done online through the phone,
Yeah.
overnighted it to them, got it back, sits it out from there because they needed that signature.
Okay.
But we are going to let you know, of course.
Of
Power of
course.
attorney
Okay.
form, another signature here. And we do also let you know about notaries too. So
Okay.
I
Good.
know it really is dependent on state to state, but something
Mhm.
interesting here, which I kind of found funny on the last form too, affidavit claiming lack of residence. So an applicant holding a South Dakota driver's license need not to complete this form. So
Okay.
I don't know why. I guess, yeah, I guess if it was some off case that they're, I don't know, living in
Yeah.
North Dakota, wanted it registered in South Dakota, they would have it. But I mean,
Oh.
yeah, like you mentioned too, it's really just title registration for dummies, giving you everything you need,
Mhm.
making it easy as possible, highlighting the signatures, putting the boxes in red, just making it as easy as possible to make sure everything's correct, everything's going to go through smoothly, nothing's going to be kicked back to you, no questions at all.
Okay.
But that is what we have to offer. That's our
Cool.
nationwide titling demonstration for you. Really just wanted to make the process as easy as possible. Um, the integration even makes it a step easier. But from
Yeah.
there, I mean, do you think? I mean, well, first of all, how much does this differ from your current process with ATC?
Um. Not much. I will say that with ATC, and I can't remember how much it was,
Mhm.
but I want to say it was like $900 for the year, and then we don't. Um, there is a fee per transaction, like
Okay.
when you're mailing it in, 85. We do pass that along to the customer. It doesn't allow us to make money off of it, increase it or
Okay.
anything. But we don't have to pay for like, um, you know, checking, like just running one through and checking it to see what the, um, what the fees are, or like
Hmm.
there's something similar to what you showed me at the beginning where the guys are just really trying to get an idea of what the tax rate is up in the,
Hmm.
like the sales tower. There's just an easy little thing where they run sometimes and put, I think they put, I don't know exactly if it's like zip code and county or something, but it's
Hmm.
something real quick that they can run to get tax rates. So I like that, but yeah, we're not paying per, like if we're just running it to see what numbers are, we're not paying for those because we do a lot. There are lots of times that they're giving me stuff and I'm looking to see what the fees are going to be, and then the deals don't ever come to fruition. So I don't
Oh
know. That
yeah,
would
of
be the
course.
only thing, the only difference I guess, is that paying for like the estimates.